Good evening, grade 8. So I'm doing a test on statistical data, statistical data handling. So this is one of your last topics that you are doing um, in grade 8 statistics. So you can just follow. I'm trying to go but as slow as I can. So I have a bar chart and it shows the number of hours worked by a group of women in 1 week. 1 week, remember, 1 week is 7 days. All right, let's just fill in the information that we have so far just before I come to answer the question. So, the number of hours of worked, the number of hours worked is on your x-axis. The number of women is on represented on the y-axis. So, the ladies or the women who worked for 38 hours, they were just two. The ones who worked for 39 hours, they were just 6. The ones who worked for 40 hours, they were 9. So remember that is going to be halfway between 8 and 10 there. And the ones that worked for 41 hours, they were 14. And the ones that worked for 42 hours, they are 10. And 8 worked for 43 hours. Okay, so that information just kind of makes it a bit easy for me to answer the questions. So the very first question says, how many women in the group work 41 hours? Well, you just go ahead and you see it's 14 women who work for 41 hours. So just one mark and you write 14. Work out the total number of women. So that's going to be, the total is going to be 2. The word total means you must add up everything. 2 plus 9 plus 14. 2 plus 9 plus 14. All right. Remember, you're getting the information from the number of women. So you look at the frequency, the highest bar, or the higher the bar, or the height of the bar tells you the frequency, the number of women. Okay, and then we have a 10, and then we have an 8. All right, so of course, I allowed the learners to use a calculator for this test. So you can just go ahead and also add to make sure that you don't get the wrong answer. Okay, so if you punch them in, you'll get 2 plus 6, which is 8, 2 plus 6, plus 9, plus 14, plus 10, plus 8. That gives you 49. So 49 women in total. Okay, and that is the answer I was looking for. Right, let's go to the second question. During the school's health week, Stephanus draws the pie chart below and about one of his diners, or my goodness, one of his dinners, or diner. Diner is someone who goes and eat. The pie chart shows what a person had. Vegetables represented by this angle sector of 160 degrees. 80 degrees is meat. The cake and fruit sections are not included. Okay, right. Um, so they are saying what percentage of her dinner is vegetables. So when you look at vegetables, vegetables is represented by 160 degrees, and the whole thing should add up to 360 degrees. So we multiply that simply by 100% in order for us to find what that answer is. So you can go ahead and say 160 upon 360, and you multiply that by 100. Don't even have to say 100 over 1. Okay, so that gives you 44, and that line over that means that 4 is recurring, it doesn't stop. So 44.4%. So 44.4%. Okay, that is the percentage of her dinner that consists of vegetables. The total mass of the dinner, that's how heavy the plate is for not the plate, but everything: the meat, the veggies, the fruit, the cake. Yeah, how heavy it is. It's 450 grams. Measure and write down the size of the angle which represents cake. Okay, so I'm going to try to use what I have here. So we have this particular angle that we were supposed to measure, well, I expected the learners to get to 40 degrees. Okay, so again, I'll show you. You obviously use a protractor. So I'm going to start there. And there's that angle inside there. So if you had your protractor, you would have realized that you should get 40 degrees. Okay, so that was 40 degrees. So I'm going to write that answer here. So you are measuring it, and therefore this is 40 degrees. It's supposed to be 40 degrees for each one. Work out the mass of the cake. So we now know this angle here is 40 degrees because we simply measured it. Okay, we measured that angle. In fact, before we go ahead, we can also find this angle, right? So you can find this angle here by saying, well, for fruit, I know that will be one of the questions. The whole thing should add up to 360 because it's a revolution. So you take away the sum of 160 plus 80 plus 40. All right, this gives me an idea that I can actually calculate that one out. So always when you have diagrams, you can go ahead and you can work on diagrams with your pencil. Okay, say 360 minus, add the other ones, 160 plus 80 plus 40. All right, that gives you 80 degrees. All right, so this angle here is 80 degrees. So this angle, I'm going to write it with a different color. This angle is 80 degrees. This one we measured. Okay, so this one you use a protractor to do. Okay, of course, if you can also say 360 minus 160 minus 80 minus 40. You are still going to get to the same answer. Good. So the second part, work out the mass of cake that's for dinner. Now, what do we know? We know the whole thing has 450 gram. 450. The whole thing weighs 450 grams. Okay, close to half a kilogram. What do we know? We know that cake is represented by the angle size of 40 degrees over 360. So you go ahead and you use your calculator in order for you to find the grams of the dinner that consists of cake. Okay, let's see. The person has a sweet tooth, so that's going to be 40 over 360. You multiply that by 450 grams. Let's just go back and see. I did not put times 450 grams, and it's 50 grams. 40 over 360 times 450. So that gives me 50 grams over there. Okay, right. So the next question, of course, they didn't ask me that, but that's what I would have done if they were asking me to find the angle sector for fruit. Then now they say on the grid, draw accurately on the bar chart. Draw accurately a bar chart to show the information given. So this is the mass. Vegetables, we know vegetables, well, we didn't calculate the mass of vegetables. So I'll probably say, let us find the veggies. So let us do that over here. So we're going to calculate, because we have cake. So we have cake, we don't have the veggies. We don't have fruit. And we don't have meat. The cake is okay. We already got the cake. Cake is here. Cake is 50. No problem. So veggies, what is the angle for veggies? So veggies, the angle is 160, but we already know 160 over 360. Okay, so let's say 160 over 360. So veggies, the angle is 160. over 360, multiply that by 450 grams. Fruit, well, I've calculated it, so it was 80 over 360, multiply that by 450 gram. Okay, meat, so let's go back to our diagram. Meat was 80 also, so whatever answer I'll get at fruit will also be the same, because meat was also the same, 360 times 450 grams. So grab your calculator and let's calculate. All right, so let us see if I put 80 there. So 80, that will give me 100 grams. So 100 gram consisting of fruit, 100 gram also consisting of meat. And let us now find the one for veggies. The majority of the food on her plate. So that will be 160. 160. So let's see, a whole whopping 200 gram. So 200 gram. So now we know, we have the information. And I'm just going to make this a bit smaller so that I can write it on the side. So I'll say the cake, I'll make a C, is 50. The veggies, I'll make a V. The veggies is 200 grams. The fruit is 100 gram. And the meat is also 100 gram. Well, if you add them all up, you'll get 450. That's 100 plus 100, that's 200, plus another 200 more is 400, plus 50, that gives you 450. Good. Now, we are going to draw accurately. That means you're going to take your ruler and you're going to draw. So let's find vegetables. So vegetables was all the way up to 200. So veggies will go all the way up to 200 over there. So you take your ruler, draw your line. Of course, let's not have a dotted line. Make it a bit like so. Maybe make it red. Right? So that will be represented by the veggies. Then the meat, 100 gram. So meat. Remember, the spaces between the bars should be equal. All right. And cake, 200. Okay, so we start all the way here. Let's just start over with that one. So the cake, we go all the way. The cake is, they say cake is 50. Okay, so it's down here. Okay, that's cake. All right, it's a little bit skew, but you get the idea. All right. Then fruit. Well, fruit is also 100, so fruit goes exactly the same like meat. Okay, so that, in a nutshell, is how you draw the bars. So you can go ahead and you can color them in if you wish to do so. Um, not really that it matters. Okay, at the end of the day, it's totally up to you. You could color them in if you want to. I know that grade 8s, they tend to like to make the things look neat. All right, you can color them in, but remember that it's not necessary. Okay, 4 marks or 3 marks for that, because gave you 3 marks because the meat and the fruit is exactly the same height. Okay, let's go to the next question. The next question, 3A, it says Mark recorded the daily minimum temperature during 1 week. Now remember something, that a week has got 7 days. And surely if you add, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mean is the sum of those values. So you take 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 14 plus 15 plus 8 more, and you divide all of that with 7. Please, if you have a funny calculator, rather put brackets like so. Okay, let's see what it is. Okay, so it's going to be 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 14 plus 15 plus 8. and we're going to divide that all by 7. So you get 75 over 7. All right, and then you can now go ahead and give your answer. Well, the answer is about 10.714. So the answer is 10.714 degrees. So you must give your answer to one decimal place. So I'll accept 10.7 degrees Celsius. Okay. Part B. Mark recorded the minimum temperature on the 8th day. Okay, what do we know? We know that the 7 days, the sum of all of them is 75. The 8th day, so we're going to say, okay, we don't know what the temperature on the 8th day will be, but if we add the temperature of the 8th day, which means now everything is over 8, we get a mean of 11. Okay, so calculate temperature on the 8th day. So that's what you do there. So you can put that 11 over 1 if you want to. So if that helps you to do this question, you can put 11 over 1 and put this in brackets, and then you cross multiply. So you are going to say 75 plus x times 1, and then 8 times 11. That is 88 there, and that is 75 plus x. Right, so that 88, that's 75, will have to go all the way over there. So x is going to be 88 take away 75. All right, so you say 88 minus 75, and you get 13. So on the 8th day, the temperature was 13 degrees Celsius. The next question, you have a pictogram below. It shows the number of deaths in road accidents in Namibia from July 2015 to December 2015. So one little facey represent 5 deaths. So how many deaths occurred in August? In August you have 2 of those, so it's 2 times 5, which makes this answer 10. And part B, how many more deaths occur in December? Right, let us just see if we can calculate December. So in December, we have December minus October. In December, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 5. And in October, 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 4 times 5. Well, all of this will give you 30 minus 20. Okay, and this answer also happened to be 10. How many deaths occurred in these 6 months? So in these 6 months, we are now looking for the total. So in July, the people who passed were just 5. In August, they were 10. In September, they were 15. In October, they are 20. And in November, 15. And lastly, in December, there are 30. So your job is to only add all of that. Right. So once you add all of that, you are going to get, so we can go ahead, that's 50, 60, 95 people. It's very sad. Okay, 95 people. Good. So information from a pictogram is not really that difficult. You look at the key and then you read the information and you just write down. Question 5 though, grade 8 learners wrote a mathematics test with a maximum of 20 marks. Their tests were as follows, as you can see. That is the total of the test. Right, so the very first question asks us to find the mean. Now in order for us to find the mean, you need to add everything. Okay, so I'm going to add them in this order, so don't want to make a mistake. So I'm going to say, okay, wait a minute, the first row. Now also remember, these are 20 values. Nah, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So to calculate the mean, I will say, okay, the mean will be the sum of the values divided by 20. That's going to give me the mean. So I'm looking for what the sum of those values are. So let's take them row by row so I don't get confused. Starting with the first row, I have 10 plus 20 plus 17 plus 17 plus 15 plus 9 plus 8 plus 18 plus 7 plus 11. 132? 132 it is. So that's 132. Okay, let's do the second row. Let's clean that up. So that's 10 plus 13 plus 14 plus 13 again plus 7 plus 16 plus 19 plus 11 plus 7 lastly plus 12, 122. So I have 122. Well, if I add all of this up, I'm going to get 254. So that is 254. Good. So you'll see that if you now take 254 and you divide it by 20, you get the mean mark, which is about 12.7. So there's 12.7, right? 12.7. Good. Letitia was absent. And this question is similar like the other one that we calculated. She took the test the next day. So we know that the 20 tests was a total of 254, but we don't know out of what Letitia scored, but we know now they are now not 20 anymore, but they are 21. And we're now told that the mean of the 21 learners is now 13. Okay, so you can go ahead and you can also, again, as I said, cross multiply. So on top, I will have nothing but 254 plus the mark that we don't know over 21 equals 13 over 1. Cross multiply, okay, that's going to be 254 plus x equals to 21 times 13. Okay, all right, so let us just make some space. So we're going to have 21 times 13, that gives you 273. So that's 254 plus x equals to 273. That's 21 times 13. And then x will be 273. Now from there you must take away 254. That gives you the mark that Letitia got in the test. So it's 273, take away 254. Well, Letitia did quite well. She got 19 out of 20. Okay. Right, I hope this helps you with your studies, grade 8s, and also if you were struggling. Remember, for your grade 8 learners, it's very important that you know how to find the mean and also to read information from a bar graph, pictogram, and also finding angles and measuring angles. So you need to use your protractor to measure angles.